622 AD, the city of Medina. A man arrives as a refugee, no money, no property, no business connections. A complete stranger in a foreign land. A local businessman offers him half of everything. Half his wealth, half his property, half his business. Even offers to divorce one of his wives so the refugee can marry her. The refugee refuses everything. He asks for just one thing. Show me where the marketplace is. Within hours, he's trading. Within days, he's profitable. Within years, he becomes the wealthiest man in Arabia. Within decades, his fortune is so vast that when he dies, his estate includes 1,000 horses, 3,000 sheep, and 100 camels. His gold is cut with axes because there's too much to count by hand. His inheritance is so large that each of his 4 wives receives 80,000 dinars. That refugee's name was Abdur Rahman Ibn Awf. Now, you might think this is just a religious story. Ancient history. Nice moral lesson, but not applicable today, right? Wrong. This is the most documented wealth-building case study from the ancient world. Because there's a pattern in how Abdur Rahman built his fortune. A pattern that contradicts everything modern finance teaches. A pattern so counterintuitive, so opposite to Wall Street wisdom, that once you understand it, you'll see why the richest people in history often followed principles that mainstream economics dismisses. And there are 7 specific strategies he used. 7 principles that turned a penniless refugee into the wealthiest companion of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Strategies that are more relevant today than they were 400 years ago. Modern wealth building teaches a specific formula: maximize returns, leverage debt, extract maximum value from every transaction, pay as little as possible, charge as much as possible. Wealth is a zero-sum game. Abdur Rahman Ibn Awf's methodology was the exact opposite. He operated on a 4-pillar framework that has been ignored by modern finance, but validated by the longest-lasting fortunes in history. Pillar 1, wealth is a trust, not a possession. You're a custodian, not an owner. This changes every financial decision. Pillar 2, generosity accelerates wealth. The more you give, the more returns to you. This contradicts mathematical logic, but proves true empirically. Pillar 3, ethical constraints create competitive advantage. Refusing prohibited transactions builds trust that compounds over decades. Pillar 4, baraka, divine blessing, multiplies legitimate earnings in ways that cannot be explained by spreadsheets. These aren't religious platitudes. These are operational principles that built one of the largest fortunes in recorded history. Let me show you exactly how he applied each one, with specific examples, with documented outcomes, and with lessons that apply directly to your financial decisions today. When Abdur Rahman arrived in Medina, Sa'd ibn Rabi, one of the wealthiest Ansari companions, made him an extraordinary offer. I am the richest among the Ansar. I will give you half my wealth. I have 2 wives. Look at them and tell me which one you prefer, and I will divorce her for you. This was the most generous offer imaginable. Half of everything, instant wealth, no work required. Abdur Rahman's response changed financial history. May Allah bless you, your family, and your wealth. I have no need for that. Just show me where the marketplace is. Now, most people would take the offer. Free money, guaranteed security. Why refuse? Because Abdur Rahman understood something that modern finance ignores. Dependency creates weakness. Building your own creates strength. The skills you develop while building wealth are more valuable than the wealth itself. He went to the market that same day with nothing. What did he have? Knowledge of trade from his years in Mecca, understanding of what people needed, willingness to start with the smallest possible transaction. He traded in butter and cheese, the most basic commodities. Small margins, humble beginnings. But here's the pattern most people miss. He didn't wait for perfect conditions. He didn't seek investors. He didn't build a business plan. He didn't wait until he had capital. He started immediately, with whatever was available, and he reinvested everything. Within a short time, he returned to Saad's neighborhood, not as a dependent guest, but as a successful merchant. He had earned enough to pay his own mahr, wedding gift, and marry independently. The first strategy: start immediately. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Use whatever resources you have, no matter how small. The compound effect of early action exceeds the compound effect of larger capital started later. Now let's examine how his business actually operated, because the methods matter more than the outcomes. Abdur Rahman Ibn Awf was known for one thing above all else in the marketplace: absolute honesty. He would disclose every flaw in his merchandise. If there was a defect, he mentioned it before the sale. If the quality was lower than expected, he said so. If a better product was available elsewhere, he would tell the buyer. This seems like terrible business strategy. Why would you undermine your own sales? Because Abdur Rahman understood a principle that modern business schools are only beginning to recognize. Trust compounds faster than capital. When you're honest about a flaw, you might lose one sale, but you gain a customer who trusts you completely. That customer returns. That customer refers others. That customer becomes a source of deals and opportunities. In the small marketplace of Medina, word spread quickly. If Abdur Rahman sells you something, you don't need to check it. His word is enough. This reputation became his greatest asset. More valuable than inventory, more valuable than capital, more valuable than any individual transaction. Here's the mathematical reality that dishonest businesses miss. A dishonest merchant might earn 20% more per transaction, but their customer base decays. They constantly need new customers to replace the ones who learned not to trust them. An honest merchant earns less per transaction, but their customer base compounds. The same customers return repeatedly. Referrals multiply. Opportunities flow toward trusted partners. Over a career spanning decades, the honest merchant's earnings exceed the dishonest merchants by orders of magnitude, not despite their honesty, because of it. Abdur Rahman didn't just practice this principle. He proved it, building the largest fortune in Arabia through a reputation for trustworthiness that made him the preferred trading partner for anyone who valued reliability. The second strategy, build trust as your primary asset. Short-term thinking sacrifices trust for transaction profit. Long-term thinking sacrifices transaction profit for trust. The patient strategy always wins. Now we reach the principle that most contradicts modern financial logic, and most explains Abdur Rahman's extraordinary success. He gave away more wealth than most people ever earn, not at the end of his life, throughout his entire career. The documented examples are staggering. He once donated an entire trade caravan, 700 camels fully loaded with merchandise, for the cause of Islam. In a single day, one decision, 700 camels worth of goods gone, he regularly provided for the families of martyrs, the poor, and the scholars. Not small amounts, comprehensive support. When Umar ibn al-Khattab was Khalifa, Abdur Rahman donated 40,000 dinars in a single contribution, the equivalent of a multi-million-dollar charitable gift by today's standards. He freed numerous slaves, purchasing their freedom with his own money. Now, here's what modern finance cannot explain. Despite giving away massive amounts continuously, his wealth kept growing. The more he gave, the more he seemed to have. His trading business expanded, his investments multiplied, his opportunities increased. How? The religious explanation is barakah, divine blessing on wealth earned and spent according to Allah's guidance. And for believers, this explanation is sufficient and true. But there's also a practical mechanism that secular economists ignore. Generosity creates networks. When you consistently help others, you become the center of a web of relationships. People want to do business with you. They bring opportunities to you first. They give you preferential terms. They protect your interests because you've protected theirs. Generosity creates reputation. In any community, the generous person is respected. Respected people attract premium opportunities. Their word carries weight. Their partnerships are sought. Generosity creates resilience. When you've helped others during their difficulties, they help you during yours. You're never truly alone. Your community becomes your safety net. Abdur Rahman wasn't generous despite being wealthy. He was wealthy because he was generous. The causation runs the opposite direction from what most people assume. The third strategy, give consistently and generously, not from surplus only, from core resources. The returns on generosity, both spiritual and material, exceed the returns on hoarding. Abdur Rahman operated within strict ethical boundaries. No interest-based transactions, no deception, no exploitation, no hoarding to manipulate prices, no prohibited goods. Modern business views ethical constraints as limitations, obstacles to profit, competitive disadvantages. Abdur Rahman proved the opposite. By refusing interest, he built businesses with real assets and real cash flows. When interest-based merchants collapsed under debt burdens, his equity-based enterprises survived and expanded. By refusing deception, he attracted the best partners and customers. Those who valued integrity sought him out. The quality of his network exceeded competitors who accepted anyone. By refusing exploitation, he created loyal relationships with workers, suppliers, and customers. They didn't just transact with him, they were invested in his success. By refusing prohibited goods, he avoided the markets most prone to legal problems, regulatory crackdowns, and societal backlash. His constraints weren't obstacles, they were filters. They filtered out low-quality transactions and attracted high-quality ones. This is a principle modern investors are slowly rediscovering. ESG investing, environmental, social, and governance factors, is essentially the recognition that ethical companies outperform unethical ones over long time horizons. But Abdur Rahman knew this 1,400 years ago, not because he read a business journal, because Islam taught these principles as divine guidance. The fourth strategy, embrace ethical constraints. Don't view them as limitations. View them as competitive advantages that compound over time. The transactions you refuse are as important as the transactions you accept. Abdur Rahman didn't build his fortune through a single business. He diversified continuously. He traded in commodities, butter, cheese, cloth, livestock. He invested in agriculture, owning orchards and farmland. He participated in trade caravans, investing in